The sun shines brightly on this Sunday afternoon on St. Louis as the Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers are getting set for Game 3 of a 3-game series. Each club has a victory coming into this one this afternoon. Hello again, everybody. Jay Randolph with Rick Horton. Good to have you with us. This should be a dandy this afternoon, no question about that. One of the questions is just exactly what is the manager going to do with all these outfielders?
Well, he's got a good problem to have because he's got guys that are getting the job done. Rick Ankiel has made it a mess in the outfield. There's 6 guys that he's going to have to find playing time. 3 left-handed hitters, 3 right-handers. Now, there's some specialty guys in that mix. Ryan Ludwick, power from the right side. The best defensive outfield, probably Ankiel, Edmonds, and Ludwick. But it's going to really depend on the day. It's going to be a chore for Tony to keep everybody happy. So Taguchi seems to be the odd man out now. Actually, Skip Schumacher's the odd man out. He's not even here, even though he's hitting 300 since the All-Star break. So a difficult job for Tony to manage. I think he's just going to have to go by the needs of that particular day. Somebody who is here is Brendan Ryan. He'll be playing at third base today as we get word that Adam Kennedy has been placed on the DL and probably is going to have some knee surgery. But it'll be interesting as we begin to see the youngsters coming in. Well, nobody likes to see somebody get hurt in Mr. Kennedy, but everybody wants to see Ryan play more often because he's provided spark just the way Ankiel has. This ballpark, Jay, has been electric this weekend because of what Ankiel has done. I think Ryan will bring a little bit of the same, and so it provides hope, not just maybe for the rest of this season, but for seasons to come. When we come back, Katie Feltz will visit with Dave Duncan, the Cardinals pitching coach.
In late spring, Ryan Ludwick was ripping the cover off the ball, hitting .500. Tony La Russa had only one question.
It's just a matter of, can he make enough contact?
He bangs one to center. That's Hopper on the run, and it is gone. Here's another shot to right.
The answer has been yes.
Up out there, and it is gone. Day for Ryan Ludwick.
When a guy's got talent, he's aggressive. You know, he can make some things happen.
3-run home run.
Ludwick has. How about a slugging percentage near the .500 mark all season long? 9 pinch hits.
The 2-2 is a base hit. Rowland being waved in. Throw from left. Not in time. And the
7 game-winning RBIs. And how many would have predicted that Ryan Ludwick in early August would have more home runs than Scott Rowland, Jim Edmonds, and Juan Encarnacion?
I don't know if I found a home. I know I love it here. It's the happiest I've ever been in my life. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, you just gotta come out and play hard every day and want it and continue to strive forward and you know, play hard.
A good quick pace to his game.
2-2 out to right center. Ludwick
for the Cardinals, but he gets very good jumps.
We all like the way he goes about it. I mean, he plays the game like it's his last, which is a really good, attractive way to play.
This isn't just a story about a guy who's suddenly gotten a chance and started to hit. No, this one's about perseverance. Ryan Ludwick has been with 4 different organizations, and over one 5-year stretch, he had 4 different major operations.
I like to describe myself as a hard worker, you know. And I think hard workers don't ever give up, you know. This is my dream, you know. As long as I still have the ability to do it, you know, why not give it a try? And, you know, all those trials I've been through, it's paid off.
Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Ryan Ludwick started his cups of coffee in the big leagues 5 years ago, but he never got to stay. His journey has been a long one, and now he just wants to unpack his bags and stay a while.
All the rehabs I've done has not been fun for me or my wife. You know, it's put us through a lot of tests. So the end reward where I'm at right now, having this opportunity, you know, thanks to, you know, Walt, Mo, and Tony, and being in such a great organization, it's just no words to describe it.
Cardinals baseball on KSDK TV is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless sponsor of the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. It's hot. That's not news if you've been around for a couple of days. And we're looking forward, though, to an interesting ball game here this afternoon as we take a look at the Dodgers batting order.
We've got 5 left-handers in that order. Loney with the big hit off of Adam Wainwright, the game winner. And they're going to be facing the young Cardinal hurler, Anthony Reyes. Reyes is today's starting pitcher, brought to you by McDonald's. Reyes 1-11. The ERA is high, but he's been much better lately, Jay. I think he's learning how to pitch. The walks down, the strikeouts up. And he's got a club that's been struggling offensively today, so that could be good news for the Cardinals.
And our first pitch is brought to you by Toyota as Rafael Furcal stands in, batting .277. On the current road trip, Furcal is hitting only .143. See, he is 1 for 8 in this series here. And he opens up with a shot into left, and it is going to fall in front of Ludwick. So a leadoff single for Furcal. And yes, he can still run. A look at the defense for the Birds this afternoon. In the outfield, it'll be Ludwick, Taguchi in center, and then Ankiel in right. Ryan's at third, Eckstein at short, Miles at second, Pujols at first, Bennett doing the catching. Juan Pierre is back in the number 2 slot. 99 degrees is what we are told the temperature is, but you saw that thermometer on the field.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good thing we're not playing on AstroTurf today.
Oh, boy. All right, remember the day.
Don't we? Takes one high. This fella is from Alabama. He'll be 30 years old next Tuesday. Originally a Colorado draft choice, 13th round, and he's stolen 44 bases. He's a handy man to have around. It's outside.
He's definitely a pesky player. When he was batting lower in the lineup, I preferred that, frankly, competing against him. When he's in that second slot, he brings the ability to handle the bat, he and Furcal both, but the speed, forcing the third baseman to play in, do a lot of things. You can slap that ball by him, you can hit and run.
And another one high.
And it tends to make a pitcher a little bit nervous, too, when you've got speed on the bases early on and guys that can handle the bat.
Pierre hit .292 with the Cubs last season. Now wearing the Dodger blue. In for a strike. The umpire behind the plate is Paul Nowert. Mike Everett is at first. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, out at second, and Brian Gorman at third. Ryan pulled up on the grass a little at third. A 3-1 offering coming from Anthony Reyes. Runner going. Ball popped into left. Ludwick is there. Rick, what are your keys to today's game?
Well, the top of the order here is number 1. There's a lot of speed in Furcal and Pierre. They have 56 stolen bases between them, and Gary Bennett only throwing out 10% of the runners. That's going to be a challenge. Cardinals bench only 2 starters playing in this game. That's Eckstein and Pujols. And how do the Cardinals and the Dodgers do with runners in scoring position? The Dodgers have been atrocious with runners in scoring position. The Cardinals have had their ups and downs.
Here's Loney. He's been playing very well. Batting .313 on this current road trip for them. Had 2 doubles last night. Hit the 2-run homer here on Friday night in the 9th to win the game. Batting .322 on the year. Nice shot there as he got that in on the corner. Crowd still coming in. Popped up out into left field. Ludwick coming on, makes the play. 2 away.
Trying out our left fielder, aren't they?
Yes, indeed.
Thought he
Not
got
a cloud in the sky here today.
Gorgeous day. I thought he had a bad jump, Ludwick, on that base hit by Furcal to lead off this game. Maybe the sky made it hard for him to see the ball. I don't know. Also interesting that Ludwick's in left, Ankiel's in right, and Taguchi's in center. I'm not really sure what the best defensive alignment is. I'm not sure that Ankiel won't eventually be the best center fielder defensively of the 3. I'm not sure that Taguchi is the best defensive outfielder of the 3, and I'm surprised he's in center.
Jeff Kent. Kent batting .294. The veteran pops this up to the right side. Albert ranging out in foul ground, makes the play. The leadoff single by Furcal, and then they went down 1-2-3. Here's a look at the Cardinal batting order. Originally, Encarnacion was in the lineup and batting 4th, but he has a little knee problem today, and they decide to sit him out.
Bad day for knees for the Cardinals. As we look at Mark Hendrickson, the Dodger hurler. He is today's starting pitcher. Also brought to you by McDonald's. Look at his numbers there. But the Cardinal knee problems began with Adam Kennedy going on the disabled list. He's likely to face surgery with a meniscus tear in his right knee, and that's why Brendan Ryan is here. But Juan Encarnacion also a late scratch. He was going to hit cleanup, Jay, as we talked about, and Ryan Ludwick now in that spot.
Mark Hendrickson is 4-6 with a 4.63 ERA. The 6'9" left-hander, the tallest man ever to wear a Dodger uniform. Former NBA player. And the pitch to Eckstein. A little high, ball 1. David with a .235 batting average in his career against Hendrickson. Down the line and left, it's in there. Nice job. So the Dodgers got the leadoff single from Furcal. Eckstein counters with a single of his own.
What a weekend for Rick Ankiel. Got the ovation when he first put on that Cardinal uniform and came to the plate, and then delivers later. He home run in game 1, and then yesterday he hit 2 more. Are you kidding me? 3 home runs in 3 days as a Cardinal, providing a lot of spark that this club desperately needs.
His pitch is low for a ball. Rick is now 28 years old. Been in the Cardinal organization for 10 years. From Florida. Was offered a scholarship to play baseball at the University of Miami. Turned it down. Fouled at the plate.
Now, hitting is not really a new thing. It shouldn't really surprise us in one way. When Ankiel was originally drafted, he was really a hitter. He played on the Olympic team as a left-hander, and we also see at his AAA numbers that he doesn't have much trouble against left-handers. 9 homers, 30 RBIs, good power numbers, not as many at-bats against left-handers, so in the lineup against Hendrickson.
That's low, 2 balls and a strike.
The average actually higher, Jay. That tells me that he stays in well. Now, he does strike out a lot against lefties or righties. But Tony really likes him in that second spot in the lineup.
Hendrickson, this hurler, is 33 years old now, born in Mount Vernon, Washington. Lives in the barbell capital of the world, York, Pennsylvania. That's outside.
That's the barbell capital of the world?
Absolutely. I thought you knew that.
I thought it was the peppermint patty capital of the world, but I did not know it was the barbell capital.
Certainly is. 3 balls and a strike. Never know what you're going to learn here, do you?
No.
Popped out of play. What a decade it has been for Ankiel. My goodness. He was the 97 High School National Player of the Year. And now a full count. Hopped into center. And, or I should say, up to the second baseman. A moment looked like it was going to go a lot farther than that. This sky is interesting from where we're sitting, isn't it?
It is tough. Here's the Dodgers defense. From left to right, Gonzalez, Pierre, and Ethier in the outfield. Kurkal, pretty fancy fielding shortstop, made a big play against Albert Pujols early in the series to save a run.
Albert fighting some aches and pains, but playing every day. Hitting .571 against this pitcher in his career. And Albert having a good year against left-handers, hitting .336. Eckstein down at first with one away. Up the middle. Eckstein stops at second. 2 on and 1 out for Ludwick.
Albert has always hit Hendrickson well. You mentioned those numbers. He's just very comfortable at the plate. He goes down to get this one about knee high, maybe even a little bit lower, and drives the ball right up in the middle. Watch out. If he was a 7'2" former basketball player, that ball might have been a little bit closer to his coconut, but Albert loves to hit against the left-hander Hendrickson.
Yes, indeed. Ludwig is 0 for 1 against Hendrickson. That's low.
He does not throw particularly hard for a big, tall, strong guy. In that way, it makes you think a little bit of Chris Young. For the Padres, another tall guy, but Young has that nasty curveball. Hendrickson's is a little bit more of a rolling curveball, has a lot of break to it, but it's not as sharp as Young's.
He is the 11th player in Major League history to play in the NBA and play Major League Baseball.
There have only been 11. Dave DeBusschere, Ron Reed.
Who's the most famous of them all?
You're not counting Michael Jordan.
No. Who was the most famous of them all? I mean,
I'm thinking. Not Dave DeBusschere?
No, not in my mind, but we'll.
All right.
2 balls and no strikes. A long one to left. Way back. It is gone. Home run number 10. 3-0 St. Louis.
Big Macland has not had a lot of action in 2007, but they got some today as Ryan Ludwick smokes that ball to left field. When he hits them long, he hits them a long way, middle in, turns on it, and no question he got all of that one. Upper tank.
Taguchi stands in. That was a nice feature on Ludwig by Frank Cusimano in our pregame show today.
He said he's never been happier in his life. I wonder how he feels now.
Might have just gone up a notch, huh? A strike to Taguchi.
That was a great story because it outlined how tough it was for him to get back to the big leagues, all the surgeries. Here's the pitch. Fastball, wow, not much on that in the middle of the plate, and Ludwick knew what to do with it. All the rehab he had to deal with, both he and his wife. Frank chatting with him about that, and it's just great to see a guy get some success after doing all that hard work.
I'll tell you about the guy I think is probably the most famous to play in the NBA and the major leagues. Chuck Connor.
Chuck Connor.
Also was the rifleman, of course, in the movies.
And he was a Dodger, was he not? I did not know he was an NBA player.
Yes, sir. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Kurt Russell was a former Dodger player, the actor.
Yep. Not a lot of home runs hitting this ballpark. The new Busch Stadium.
You would think of Petco Park and Angel Stadium as being stadiums that are tough to hit the ball out of. You wouldn't think that about Busch Stadium, but it has been.
Down at third, Martinez throws across to get Taguchi. Ramon Martinez, Rafael Furcal, Jeff Kent, and James Loney on the infield. Luis Gonzalez, Juan Pierre, and Andre Ethier in the outfield left to right. Here's Gary Bennett. Ludwick talking with hitting coach Hal McRae. Bennett takes one low. Bennett batting .230. 35-year-old veteran catcher. Originally signed in '90 with the Phillies. From Waukegan, Illinois. This in play into right field. Ethier comes on to make it. A 3-run home run off the bat of Ryan Ludwick. And the Birds have a 3-0 lead after 1 at Busch. Cardinals leading at 3-0. And Reyes has got some runs. That tough shutout loss to Jake Peavy and the Padres last Tuesday. Well, and Katie Feltz is with us handling all the interviews. And is that Chris Carpenter? It is.
That is Chris Carpenter standing with me, Jay. Chris, you've had the surgery, you have the brace on. Now what is ahead for the next several months?
Basically right now with this brace, it's on for 4 to 6 weeks, and I'm just taking it easy and trying to let it heal. And just listening to the doctors and the trainers and making sure that I do the right things.
It's pretty hot outside, but I bet that you would take the heat to be out there on the mound.
Oh, absolutely. That's the toughest thing is not being able to compete. That's what I love to do, and that's taking the ball every 5 days. But unfortunately, this is what was dealt, so I'm going to do everything I can to get back as soon as I can.
With your arm in the brace, how is it at home? Are you able to play with the kids? What's it like?
Not really. I'm not allowed to do a whole lot at all. It's just, like I said, you sit around and let it heal.
And do you talk to Josh Kinney at all? I mean, he's somebody who's been through this. Do you go to him and ask him what he's been through?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit, and, I'm sure once this process gets a little more into it, I'll have some more questions for him and what it's like and what to expect.
The starting rotation has been up and down this year. Maybe have they turned a corner now?
It's been fun the last 5 or 6 days watching these guys go out and dominate like they can, and hopefully we can keep it going and get back into it.
Chris, thanks for taking the time. We hope to see you back soon. Jay, we'll send it back up to you at the booth.
Well, it won't be very soon, but certainly we wish him well. It's a long road coming back from the Tommy John. Gonzalez has walked to start this 2nd inning, and here's Mike Lieberthal, the veteran catcher.
It'll feel a lot quicker as far as we're concerned than Chris Carpenter.
Oh, boy.
Because that is an arduous process.
Yeah. Nice job by Katie to get that interview down in the clubhouse. Lieberthal's 35 years old, a Californian, 2-time All-Star, 14th year in the majors, and 18th year of professional baseball. Pops it up, coming back out of play. Lieberthal over the years has hit .276 against the Cardinals. He was 3 for 4 here at Busch Stadium last season.
See my instincts going after that pop fly? Jay?
I did.
I was going for that, baby. A little closer and I'd have had it.
Off-speed pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's outside. Count evened up at 2-2. Lieberthal hitting .295 against right-handers this season. And that's foul backing out of play.
Well, the leadoff walk in this inning is not plan A for Anthony Reyes. Your club gets you 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning. You would hope he could go out there and at least pump in strikes to the leadoff hitter Gonzalez. A lot of times that comes back to hurt you, Jay, when you have a leadoff walk. The numbers I've heard are 70% of the time they score.
He's thrown 20 pitches, 10 for strikes. Here's the 2-2. I got it. First strikeout of the game. Well, we're going to turn the clock back a little ways. Take a look here.
Ooh,
there
long way back.
Number 49.
Long way back.
How come you don't look any different now than you did then?
Oh, I feel a lot different. I used to run off the field just to make sure that they knew. You know, by the way, that's Tony Gwynn right there. That's a Hall of Famer. That's a Hall of Famer. And that's Mike Jorgensen.
There you go.
How about that? That was a long time ago. How about those powder blue? I'm still wearing powder blue.
Still wearing powder blue is right.
I'm not sure it's my color.
Ethier is at the plate.
Were you probably doing that game, Jay?
I probably was doing that game, but I thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to cover your playing days. You were a real pro and still are. What a joy it is to sit next to you during these games. Pretty good career you had.
More wins than losses. Although, if I'd have played a couple more years, that might have been the other way around. But and the ERA, not as good in those standards as they would be today. But
23 saves in those stats that you don't see there, too. Broken bat, shot to the right side. Gonzalez going to third, being waved in. He'll score, and it's a triple for Ethier. That broken bat went out beyond Albert Pujols, and Gonzalez can still run the bases. And Ankiel did his best, but that's a tough spot down in there. And of course, you're ever learning that position out there.
And that's what that leadoff walk does for you. It gives you an opportunity to have a broken bat, get you back in the ball game. Gonzalez got a good jump, picked up the third base coach, still runs decent. Ankiel has trouble getting the ball out of the corner. It's going to probably be a run anyway. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he couldn't have done a little bit more to keep Ethier from getting the third. Now the Cardinals with the infield back are conceding the second run. Here they come.
Martinez. He's batting 176 and only 167 on this current road trip.
Interesting, the 2 middle infielders, one was charging, one wasn't. Aaron Miles was coming in and David Eckstein was staying back.
Martinez was 2 for 4 in this ballpark last year. Lifetime .270 hitter against the Cardinals. Born in Philadelphia. He's 34 years old now. He did grow up in Puerto Rico and lives there in the off season. Been with Kansas City, the Giants, the Cubs, Detroit, the Phillies. 1 ball and 1 strike. Foul back, 1-2. Milwaukee and the Astros are underway down in Houston. Later on, the Cubs are at the Rockies.
David Eckstein's been charging more and more on each pitch. He only came in a couple of steps on the first pitch. He was about here. Second pitch here. That last pitch, he was right on top of Martinez. See how much he charges here. He stays back a little bit more.
Into left. Ludwick coming on. Ethier will tag and score. Sacrifice fly in the RBI, the 15th RBI of the season for Martinez. Pretty good throw from Ludwick.
Yeah, it was a good throw. He's trying to get behind the ball. He did an okay job of that, to get his body moving towards the plate, and one hopper right on the plate. And Not that close, but it sure was a good throw. He probably in about 10 more steps might have had a shot at Ethier, who does not really run that well. Doesn't have a stolen base yet. You think?
No, he's 0 for 3 in the stolen base
He
department.
looks fast, Jay.
Yeah. Hendrickson is batting 40. 0 for 0. First pitch was a ball. It's in for a strike at the knees. His knees are a little higher than most.
It's like pitching to Darryl Strawberry. Wow. He's got this big, huge strike zone. Actually, tall players have to cover more space, too.
And a hard hit ball. Nice stop by Eckstein. Throws on. LA picks up 2 in the second. It's 3-2 Cardinals. Cardinals will be returning home on the 21st of August, and a visit from the National League East foes, the Marlins and the Braves. Great seats for those series are available online today. Check out the Prime Seat Club at stlcardinals.com. Aaron Miles, Anthony Reyes, and Brendan Ryan due here in the bottom of the second inning in a 3-2 game. Birds getting 3 runs in the first on the home run by Ludwick. And we want to remind you football fans, the NFL is on News Channel 5 tonight. Don't miss the preseason action. The Seahawks take on LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers. Preseason Sunday night football tonight at 7 on News Channel 5. Aaron Miles batting .286. A little toe head there. Welcome to the ballpark, young lady.
Oh, what a cutie.
Fouled into the seats. Hendrickson out in front, 0-2. Cardinals have 6 games left with Milwaukee, all in Milwaukee, and 8 with the Cubs. 4 up there on the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, and then the 3 games in September on the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Into the hole and left. Aaron Miles. A leadoff single.
It looks like we're going to have the leadoff runner on every inning of this entire game. Both the Dodgers innings, they've had their leadoff runner on. Now the Cardinals have. Eckstein led off the first with a base hit. Aaron Miles hitting it in the hole. Not that hard, but good piece of hitting for him. And Cardinals really need to pile on here, Jay. They need to get Hendrickson out of this game, show no mercy. With Reyes giving those 2 runs back, they need more.
Anthony lays the bunt down, and the play to first. The sacrifice going 1-4. And Brendan Ryan will come to the dish. It's his 4th time up with a big club this year. Hitting .400 against left-handers. He's hitting .355 as a starter, .339 in the majors this year.
It's good to see him back. A lot of Cardinal fans have missed him since he's been out. His last 14 games in AAA, since he went back down, he's had 7 multi-hit games. Average climbing to .272 there, but provided some spark for this club last time up.
He is a man in motion.
That's a good way to describe
a little low.
him.
Yep, he's always moving.
I think his brain is kind of the same way. I mean, he's one of those guys that's a little bit, how would I say it? I don't want to call him unfocused, but he's...
Oh, no. He's a little quirky, maybe.
He's quirky. That's a much better word. Quirky off the field, and...
Terrific young man, too.
Teammates like to tease him a little bit for that. A little absent-minded at times. But when it comes to between the white lines, he comes to play.
When he was in New York, ended up in Yankee Stadium.
And that'd be the kind of thing that would be par for the course, so you better get ready for that.
That's right. A strike at the letters. 1 ball and 1 strike. Milwaukee's out to a 1-0 lead at Houston in the second inning.
Oh, my goodness, that looks good. It's not on my diet, though.
Oh, those Dippin' Dots are good, though. Man, they're good. No calories in those.
Oh, yeah. Up the middle, and a fine play made by Furcal in time. Boy, oh boy, we've seen him do that a couple of times in this series. That ball was hit. You don't think he's going to get there, but he does. Furcal doing the job. Miles goes on to third.
Not only does he get to this ball up the middle, but he also has a cannon to get Brendan Ryan by, well, not sure he did get him. Very close play at first. And the call is right. Just a hair in front of that foot hit in the bag, and Brendan Ryan gave it the safe sign, but you're not allowed to make the call on your own infield hit. It's a rule.
Not a pickup game, is it?
No.
Eckstein singled and scored on the home run by Ludwick in the first. Low for ball one. Cardinals have an off day tomorrow, and then the 7-game trip. 3 in Milwaukee and 4 in Chicago. That's high strike.
Wow.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Wow. David says, hey, I'm not an NBA player.
Some of these folks enjoying the game on the monitors in air-conditioned comfort here at the ballpark. Out to the shortstop. Furcal guns down his counterpart Eckstein. 3-2 St. Louis after 2.
Okay.
On the run at Mobile is turning a triple play with a card score 6. Take your pick deal. Every time the Cardinals score 6 or more in a game, you get the 20-ounce Bengal coffee, refreshing fountain drink, or that heat-busting frozen drink for just a quarter. That's the next day at any On the Run at Mobile. The voice of the Cardinals, Mr. Mike Shannon, joins us after a wonderful evening last night at your night at the races.
We had some fun, didn't we?
We did have a great time despite the power failure. And
we don't worry about those things.
Furcal leading it off here. 1 ball and 1 strike. Furcal singled to start this game. Birds up 3-0. How about Ludwick? The hits just keep coming here all of a sudden.
Jay, he's just made some great strides this year. You know, he's been around for a while. He is a strike is called. He's been around for a while, and he's had some injuries, okay, and he's worked his way back. And he played a little in spring training, but he didn't show anything like he's showing here. He's just made so much progress. And the thing about playing in the big leagues is you see this line. What a play by Miles. Maybe the worm has turned for the Cardinals. Some breaks are starting to come their way. But what he's been able to do and what you have to do in the big leagues, you have to adjust almost on a day-to-day basis and many times on a pitch-to-pitch basis and an at-bat basis. And he's been able to do that. You know, when he first arrived, you saw the holes that he had, and they tried to capitalize and expose those holes, the opposition. But he's adapted, and I'm telling you, he's a big threat at the plate now, very dangerous threat, and he proves it here in the first inning.
He's come a long way from 10 years ago when he was playing in the Alaskan League.
Well, I'm not aware of that one. That's one that I missed.
Yeah, he was indeed. He was. Yeah, I'm sure you're glad you missed it.
Is that collegiate league where they play? You know, you play right in somewhere in college, and you get to go up there and play.
Yeah,
which is a really a great advantage for these youngsters to develop their skills. That's a pretty good league up there, they tell me.
They call it the Goal Panner League.
Is that right? Well, I wonder why. Huh? But that's pretty neat, you know. The college kids get to go up there, and it's almost like a semi-pro.
Now, I guess that league and that Cape Cod League that they have are about, you know, the best you can get, the best deal you can arrange. 0-2 the count to Juan Pierre. Pierre flied to left.
Well, that's your society, that Cape Cod League up there, so I'm not aware of that, but I'd love for you to tell me about it.
Well, you know, the Kennedys were from that
I understand
area,
all that. That's why I'm asking. Should I say it's out of our league?
Yes, it is out of our league. Yeah, you're right there.
At least mine.
Well, mine too. And a little bloop for a single off the bat of Pierre. He just slapped at it.
You have, I tell you what, if you can keep these two guys off base, okay, for Kyle and Pierre, you got a really good chance of beating this Dodger club. And that's exactly what the Cardinals have been able to do in this series. You know, they got burned by Loney, all right, with a 2-run homer, and he's been the guy that's nailed them. He's had a home run, he's had a double, a triple. He has 4 RBIs in this series. But if you keep the two guys up at the top off that lineup, you're going to fare a lot better against Los Angeles. And they do so many things to you. And it was evident in the first inning when for Kyle's single, then he fell behind Pierre. Well, he was running on the 3-1. He got him on the pop-out. Now you've got the bigger base-stealing threat down there now, and I would imagine he's going. There he is.
And he goes, and he is safe. That is stolen base number 45 on the year for Juan Pierre.
And that's one thing that Reyes has to improve on, and that's his side, you know, his slide step, okay? I mean, see this high kick? He just gave the runner way too much time. And a runner like Pierre, even with the great Cardinal catcher making an unbelievable throw, he's going to beat it. You saw it right there.
Loney flied to left in the first. He had 2 doubles here last night. And that home run here on Friday night that won the game. Loney is just 23 years old. He's from Texas.
This kid's a good-looking young hitter, isn't he?
Yes, he is. There's a little Tyke having some fun. That's fouled at the plate.
Fun at the old ballpark. You can have it in many ways, can't you?
Sure can.
And we've got another big crowd. Tell you what, you take 2 out of 3 against this Dodger outfit, you'll have, well, the Cardinals will have, if they win this game, they're going to have a great homestand. They lose it, they'll have a good homestand. But they'll be 5-2 against 2 clubs that are in the Western Division race, 2 really good clubs, and facing the best pitching they've faced in that particular string, a weak string that they faced all year long.
Struck him out. Strikeout number 2. And
he didn't like that call.
No, he didn't like it at all.
He says something to Paul Noward as he walks away. There's the fastball that was inside, and the umpire thought it came and caught the back half as you saw the ball tail, and the difference was Loney didn't think so, but the one still great authority in our North American continent is the umpire. Very, very seldom does he ever. He's the judge, the jury, he's everything.
He's the man with the power, isn't he?
That's it.
Here's Kent. He fouled out back in the first inning.
There's a
little low.
There's a great little phrase in the rule book. Almost after every rule that is in the book, I don't know exactly what the percentage, but it's well over 50%. It says umpire's discretion. Folks, legally that puts you in a bad spot.
That's a powerful
couple of words.
Little sentence. Yeah, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Umpire's discretion. So in other words, what he says goes. Many plays, you know, it's like the ball is impeded with by a fan, okay? And it says, well, that's a ground rule. But then it says, umpire's discretion, they can give him another base if they think that he could have made it. That's just one instance.
Kent hitting .250 lifetime against Reyes. The pitch fouled off.
Let me put it to you this way, folks. Kent is 0 for 13, all right? If he gets out of here 0 for whatever in this series, you should beat this team 2 out of the 3 games. And here he is in a spot now where he can tie it or give the Dodgers the lead. This guy's a future Hall of Famer.
I was just going to say, future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it.
And when he gets hot, boy, he can tear you up. This is the biggest spot in this game. With 2 outs, he has a base open. Left-handed batter on deck.
All-time home run leader in the majors for second baseman, and a shot into center field.
Beautiful.
And coming on to make the play is Taguchi. So, after 2.5, Birds lead 3-2. We head to the bottom of the third, 3-2 Cardinals, and following the Cardinal telecast, stay tuned for the postgame show with Rennie Knott and Deanne Lane. News Channel 5, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals. And Ankiel, Pujols, and Ludwick.
Well, what's your take on Mr. Ankiel, Jennings?
Well, it's just a fabulous story.
Sure is.
And I mean, and now, you know, Ludwick hits the home run, and Ryan is up. Kennedy goes on the DL. I like the Ryan kid. The youth movement has started, whether we like it or not. I like it.
Well, they have definitely put a spark and a little pep into the step of this team.
First offering fouled away. Ankiel popped out in the first inning.
And he's facing a crafty left-hander here, a very experienced veteran. And it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this.
Oh, and 2.
2 off-speed deliveries in the first 2, Tony. Now let's see if he tries to set up the breaking ball by throwing him a fastball off the plate, or if he stays with the curve. He's going to bounce it. Another curveball.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
This is what you talk about when we're talking about the adjusting and going by pitch, what Ludwick has been able to do this year. And now Rick's going to have to go through that process.
Cardinals are 29-27 here at home this year. 14-14 against the West. It's fouled about a play.
Straight changeup that time. So they're staying away from the fastball to this point. He got him on an off-speed delivery in the first inning on the pop-up. And he's thrown him all 3 of these pitches. Make it 4. And they've been off speed. Now the fastball.
This is the 6th game, 6th and final game between these 2 teams this year. Cardinals have won 2, LA 3.
I'd be willing to bet you anything that he's going to throw him an off-speed delivery now after wasting the 2-2.
And it's ripped to right. Down into the corner. Off the wall. Ankiel, a stand-up double.
I don't know what our radar had him, but it looked like it was a straight change, and the kid stayed with it. He has been something, hasn't he? Wow. And what he also gives you, Jay, is the power. You know, he's got 3 home runs. Now he adds a double in there. And let's take a look at the pitch. It's a straight change, and he went down after it, stayed back. He's been something. You know, you mentioned it the other day, the swing that he has, how fluid it is, and then after that, how the ball jumps off the bat.
It's amazing. Pujols takes a strike. Albert singled and scored in the first on that home run by Ludwick. Ryan is on deck. And Ankiel out there at second with the leadoff double. The leadoff man has been on in all 3 innings for the Birds. Pop foul. Top of the 3rd at Houston. Milwaukee leads 1-0. They're just getting underway in Colorado. The Cubs and the Rockies. Brad Lidge, 2 home runs to the Brewers last night. Ever since Albert hit that bomb against Lidge, he's had a little different outlook, I guess. Here's one on the ground, and the only play to first, safe.
I'll tell you, it's ironic how this play develops now, okay? First of all, Ankiel hesitates. And You heard me say, uh-oh, because then there's a play at third base. But because the shortstop had to come in so far to catch the ball, now if he throws to third, he has the problem of the runner. It's in his line of where the throw's going to go.
Too. Yeah.
So he knew after he came in, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to throw the ball to third and get Ankiel. After Ankiel had hesitated, then he knew he couldn't make that throw. And while all of that was happening, Albert's hot putting it down the line, and a chance for the Cardinals to capitalize. Boy, this is a great game, isn't it? So many things develop, so many different ways.
And Albert, although his legs are not in the best of shape these days, he really hustled on that when Ludwick fouls it off. His 10th home run. A 3-run shot came in the first inning here. And now the Birds threaten again with runners at the corners and nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
You have to score. You have to score when you get a spot like this. If you don't, the momentum will go to the other side big time.
There's an off-speed pitch.
He made a good pitch on the fastball. Ryan was right on it with his first swing, and now he comes back with the changeup. And that scenario has been working in this business for a long time. Good combination, huh?
The 6'9" left-hander out in front, 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, I'm sure you've mentioned it already, Jay, that he's a former NBA player.
Yeah, we talked. He's the 11th fella, and we talked about some of the fellas that played baseball. And
I was thinking that the former Milwaukee pitcher Conley might have been one of the first.
He was one of the first, and of course we mentioned Chuck Connors in the hole. Another RBI for Ludwick, his 4th of the day, as Ankiel comes home. Albert stops at second.
Well, you just can't say enough for these youngsters that have come on the scene for the Cardinals this year. They have kept them, the youngsters have kept the Cardinals in the race. There is no doubt about it. And Ludwick has played a big part in that one. Duncan, Ryan, now Ankiel, the bullpenners, the list goes on and on.
Ludwick is an interesting, we call him a youngster. He's 29, but he is a youngster in a way that he's getting another shot, and he's really taking advantage of it this time around.
Yeah. When I say youngsters, I'm talking about experience-wise.
Right, sure.
And he's had more experience than most of them, but because of those injuries, he's had to wait, and he's had to fight his way back, and boy, is he capitalizing on it up here.
Taguchi grounded out in the first.
Now,
so inserted into the lineup after Encarnacion couldn't go because of the knee problem today.
Here's a good spot, okay? He's first and second, and the bunt's in play here, okay? So the manager gives him 1 pitch to swing away. Now let's see if he switches off.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Stays right there. He has Bennett on deck. He's a double play threat with being the catcher. He doesn't run that well. Now what will the manager do? You want to manage? Don't wait till afterwards. Manage now. What do? Do you bunt if you're the manager? Or do you play it straight, or do you
I don't think I bunt
run?
because So's hitting .325 against left-handers this year.
There's a
double play ball, maybe. And not in time. A bad throw, but they wouldn't have had him at first.
Well, there's another situation now. They do not turn the double play ball, okay? So you have to, when they make an error like that, and you're not going to see it in the paper or in the box score because it's not an error, it's 6-4 fielder's choice. But if they handle it perfectly, you're most likely going to turn the double play. When you miss those opportunities, the opposition needs to capitalize on it. It's hard enough to score in this business, but if you get the opportunity because of a miscue, you need to capitalize on it. Now it's Bennett.
It's not often you get the extra opportunity, and when you do, you better pounce on it. Here's Bennett, who flied to right back in the first. Albert at third. Taguchi at first. Pitch out. Ooh, boy. Good job by Lieberthal to come up with that one.
I think the big NBA star will give him an assist on that, don't you? Now here you go again. Do you start the runner, Taguchi? That's all. You know, if you're pushing the buttons as the manager, there he goes.
There he goes. No throw from Lieberthal.
There's all kinds of options that you have if you're the manager, and here's one right there. The Cardinal manager turns Taguchi loose, and now the double play is not in order. Now they have to pull the infield in, and that really enhances the chances of the batter to get the RBI and get the base hit. Just that one little play.
That's only the 38th stolen base for the Cardinals all season.
To compared to 93 for this Dodger club coming in.
Now the infield is in.
Big difference.
Inside.
Not only the infield in, and you get a better chance to get a base hit, but now the double play is no longer in order. So what's he going to do here? It looks like he might even, with the base open.
Oh, they did turn him loose. And the play comes home. Albert is tagged out. We'll have runners at the corners now with 2 gone.
Albert didn't get a very good jump off of third base when the ball was hit. Let's take another look at it and see. See, he hesitates just that split second. I don't know if it made any difference or not, but whether he was running on contact, but he was a dead duck at the plate. You know, they have plays, okay, for that situation, okay, and it's you make the ball go through is one of them. The other is you go on contact, which is when you're almost running as the pitch comes home. You have that leg up in the air, and if he hits it, you go, okay. That when that leg comes down, the momentum just carries you through.
Miles looked like he wanted to cross him up there with a bunt. He singled back in the second. First pitch was a ball from Hendrickson. 1 run home here. Cardinals leading 4-2, trying to get more. Ball 2.
Now, you have to remember, there's a base open, and the pitcher's hitting in the 8th spot now. So if you're Hendrickson, you do not have to give Miles anything good to hit here. Let's see if he pitches like that, or exactly what his strategy is.
Hot shot, gets past Martinez.
I'm surprised he gave him that good a pitch
scores. Bennett stops at second. Miles picks up his 21st RBI of the season. And I'm surprised he gave a shot that he could hit like that. Yep.
Because of that, but let me tell you a little bit about the strategy of the Cardinal manager hitting the pitcher 8th. We talked about it the other day, Jay.
Right.
You know, he might now, you get lost in the game, okay? If you're the pitcher, you're concentrating on this is the 7th hitter. So he might have already in his mind forgotten about that the pitcher's hitting next. And maybe that's why he made that mistake.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. As I said on Friday night, I don't particularly understand it, but I'm not going to criticize him for it. He knows a lot more baseball than I'll ever know. There he is.
And here, that was a great example.
Yep.
You know, that everybody is so accustomed to the pitcher batting 9th in the National League that, and especially if you're a pitcher, you're not even thinking about it, okay? And there was an example where a guy that's hitting almost 400 here at home since the latter part of June, and he gives him a good pitch to hit.
That's low, ball 2. Anthony Reyes, with runners in scoring position, lifetime in the majors, is batting 56.
That's better than his average this
Yes.
year. He's 0-40 something this
48.
year. 48. So he's in the right spot now. He could help himself. Boy, the strategy in this game, it just continues, doesn't it? It goes on and on. You've got 2 of the great managers here today. This manager for the Dodgers, Grady, he's an outstanding manager also. He's
Absolutely.
really good. But there's just so much that goes on all through the game. Do you start the guy? Do you put the hit and run? Do you bunt? Where do you move your fielders? The pitchers and how the catchers how they call the game. What pitch do they call? Inside, outside, up, down. Now, there's a situation right there. He's not satisfied with it, so he calls the catcher out. Says, here's what I want to do. I don't want to throw that pitch, and I don't want to throw it to there, and so they talk about that. But I'll bet you that the furthest thing from Hendrickson's mind was the fact that when Miles was up there, that the pitcher was next. I bet you he didn't even think about it or realize it. And he's a veteran.
2 balls and a strike. That's high, 3-1. He wouldn't walk the pitcher, would he?
Well, Brendan Ryan, who's on deck, hopes he does. Let's see what Anthony's going to do. Is he going to go out there and look for a fastball here? Oh, yeah.
And it's in the hole and left. Waving Bennett home. And he is home with another run for the Birds. And Reyes gets his first RBI.
It figured you're going to throw the pitcher a fastball on 3-1. Reyes was looking for it and he got it. This is a big inning for the Redbirds. Big inning because they have capitalized on the miscue when they did not turn the double play earlier in this inning. And now the bullpen that gets to work out there for Los Angeles, as one of my favorite people in the history of the game is on his way to the mound. Rick Honeycutt. This guy is such a class person and
former Cardinal.
Such a great big league pitcher, and now a pitching coach. Lives down in Knoxville, Tennessee, or as they say, Tennessee. He is something else, and they have the right-hander Cianez loosening in their bullpen. But Rick Honeycutt, he's a throwback now. I'd love to hear this conversation.
5 hits in the inning. And the Cardinals have plated 3 after the 3-run home run in the first by Ludwick. First career RBI, as we mentioned, for Anthony Reyes.
And you were saying before, 6 or more, you'll get that drink tomorrow at On the Run at Mobile, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
You got it today?
You folks are in business.
We won 6-1 yesterday, right?
Yep.
So ditto. Back to that cup of coffee or the frozen drink, whichever you wish.
That's low to Ryan, who grounded out in the 2nd inning.
And a chance to get some more here. And against the Dodger club that's going to explode sooner or later offensively, this would be a good idea.
Kind of glad this is the last time we'll see them during the regular season.
I'd like to just let them get out of town before they do start their offense, get it on track.
Here's one into right. He's going for 2. Another run comes home.
And
Brendan Ryan.
Here it is, the kids again, Jay.
He's batting .400 against left-handed pitching, as I mentioned earlier. And he comes through with a dandy.
That's 6 hits in this inning, 4 runs being scored. And the 9th man to come to the plate is David Eckstein. Wow, this is such a big game. If the Cardinals can win it, they'll go 5-2 on this trip. 3 out of 4 against San Diego and 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. Both clubs in the Western Division race, both really good teams, and pitching, superb pitching that they've had to face in these games.
A strike to Eckstein, who singled in the 1st inning and later scored on that 3-run shot by Ludwick. He grounded out in the 2nd.
They faced 3 pitchers in this series that are 1-2-3 ERA-wise in the National League, plus all big winners. 2 with San Diego and 1 with this Dodger club. And you got another veteran here. The pitching has really been the best competitive pitching against the Cardinals in a week that they've had all season long, and they got a chance to go 5-2.
Time is called. Everybody in this lineup has helped. My goodness. Look at this. What would you call that? A total team effort?
They're killing them slowly, right? Single, 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 except for the blast by Ludwick in the first.
Foul back.
Or as they say, how's the song say? Killing you softly. And these fans continue to flock in here at a pace that's unprecedented.
Yep.
Wow.
Another sellout crowd today, although we do have some empty seats.
Well, they're just back getting a little shade.
Getting
right?
some shade, that's right. Probably
and hopefully
right.
a nice cold frosty.
Yes, sir.
Glass of water or whatever to keep yourself hydrated.
7-10-0 for the Cardinals, who have plated 4 here in the third after that 3-run shot by Ludwick in the first.
2 more big ones out there now.
Oop, inside, almost hit him. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Boy, if David could drive these 2 guys home, you'd feel a little more comfortable having a 9-2 lead.
Milwaukee's now leading the Astros in Houston 2-0. They're in the 4th inning. No score in Denver. The Cubs and the Rockies 2nd inning. Ball and 2 strikes.
This is a guy, David Eckstein, that doesn't throw many at-bats away.
No.
He usually is just, his concentration is phenomenal. In his last 6 games, not counting this one, he's batting well over 400, and he's 1 for 2 today.
Got the first hit in this ballpark, a bunt. Remember? Up the middle.
Oh. Bad break there.
Oh, real bad break. Safe. Another run scores.
A bad break because the 2 runs would have scored, but thankfully he does get the base hit, and we'll have to see if they're a big left-hander. The pitcher is okay. That ball came right back at him, and he had to go and retrieve his glove, but that's all for him. Here comes the manager, and we're going to have a new pitcher. He threw his glove at the ball, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, it went off of his pitching hand, or maybe it went off of his body some way or another.
Let's just see if we can see this. Well, we can't from that view, but Eckstein really hustling down the line. Now we'll get a look at this.
See why he gets the glove up there. It hits the glove, and then it went off of his hand. It went off of his pitching hand. I thought it might have almost struck him in the hat or the head, but it looked like it went off of his hand as he threw that up, but he's gone as they have the pitching change.
The Cardinals leading 8-2. We've got a pitching change, and we'll take this timeout. Well, in the 3rd inning here, look what happened. They didn't turn the double play, remember?
And that opened the gates. Smashed by the 3rd baseman. The pitcher jumps in with a base hit. And Ludwick, the 3-run homer to get it started for the youngsters. And then the base hit by Brendan Ryan. And then Eckstein as the veterans come around. And guess who's at the plate again?
And he's batting .429. Rudy Cianez is the new pitcher. His 55th appearance.
Tell you what, if Ankiel comes through here, this place is liable to explode here in downtown St. Louis. Be ready.
Cianez had a save on July 14th at San Francisco. 3.93 ERA and 1 save in 54 appearances. 1 ball and 1 strike.
His knowledge of the strike zone has been impressive in the early going. We haven't seen him swing at too many things out of the strike zone, and that's what these big leaguers try to do to you. Just what he did to him there. Throw that ball about 2 inches inside and see if you'll swing at it. He didn't.
Inside for ball 2. A little off that one. 2-2. Cardinals have played well in the daytime this season. They're 19-5. A 2-2 pitch coming from CNS. Low, full count.
All right. Now, one of the reasons that you put Ankiel in the 2 spot is because you want him to see more fastballs. Here's a situation. It's 3-2, and Albert is on deck. So if you're seeing that, you say he's going to be looking for the fastball. Can I get my breaking ball over, or what I got? Another decision has to be made here. This is a fun game, isn't it? Change up, and he got it.
That's going to do it. But the Birds pick up 5 in the 3rd to lead it 8-2. This portion of Cardinal baseball on KSDK TV is brought to you by Fairmount Park. No matter where you are, you're never far from the fun at Fairmount Park. By Schnucks, where shopping is easy. And by American Furniture, Electronics, and Appliances, with 4 convenient St. Louis locations. Here's Brendan Ryan, back with the big club. His 4th time up this year. Again, if you haven't heard, Adam Kennedy placed on the DL. Probably going to have some knee work done.
Yeah, he's got a torn cartilage in the right knee, and he'll probably take that operation early this week.
Gonzalez will lead it off.
4 to 6 weeks, they think.
Yeah. Gonzalez has walked and scored in the 2nd inning.
Now we'll see if Reyes can settle down and get some outs here. When he had a 3-run lead, he came back in the 2nd inning. He walked the leadoff man, and they scored twice. Now, you can't walk anybody here. You've got to come right after him. You have yourself an 8-2 lead, and you've got to be aggressive here.
The 1-1. A little low. 2 balls and a strike. And that's inside. 3-1. This day in history brought to you by Commerce Bank. August the 12th of '64. Mickey Mantle hits home runs from both the left and the right side. What a guy he was. That's fouled out of play. Full count. Who knows what kind of numbers Mantle would have been able to put up had he been able to have 2 good legs through his career.
Or a different lifestyle.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But you know, they used to say Jennings had bad knees, and he still got down to first base faster than anybody in the league.
Yep. And this is into left, and another leadoff hit. Take a look at Mickey Mantle, gentleman I got to know real well in my days at Dallas when I was starting in radio and TV down there. Used to play a lot of golf with Mickey. He'd be a terrific fella.
And he could run. I mean, he could fly. He just had so much great ability.
Some talent.
He and Roger Maris posed some threat, didn't they?
They sure did. And Mike, you know, you and Roger were such great friends, and I had the opportunity to know Roger when he was here, and also through you, and we spent a lot of time on the golf course. And, 2 terrific guys.
Boy, they weren't so terrific if you had to face them, though.
No.
Hitting in the order. Man, oh man, yeah, that was some era. The Yankees have had this unbelievable teams through the years. You know, going back to the Ruth days, and the DiMaggio gang, and then when Mantle came along and had all of that. Whew.
On the ground, a double play ball. Touching second, going on to first.
Well, they couldn't turn the double play, and it cost them, and now the Cardinals do turn it. It's how you execute in this business. That Mantle, though, for a switch hitter, is such a natural ball player that he was. Yeah. I mean, everything came so natural to me.
Talking about the Yankees, another guy on that Yankee team in that era is A good friend, too, Whitey Ford.
Yeah, and what a class guy.
Ooh, boy.
A class guy. And then you go Yogi Berra's
Yogi,
age,
of course.
being from St. Louis. Bobby Richardson.
Terrific group of fellas.
Bobby Richardson gave the eulogy at Roger Maris's funeral up in North Dakota.
Andre Ethier had the triple, an RBI, and scored in the second.
Mickey was one of the pallbearers, okay? So I was fortunate enough to be. I'll tell you one thing. When you come up the steps of the church and you stop at the back, you know, at the casket, he'd have given all of his World Series rings, all of his records, if he could have disappeared right then and there. I'm going to tell you, I've never seen a guy more nervous than Mickey at that particular time. Moose Skowron was there.
Along with the right, and it is going to drop at the warning track. Ankiel gets it quickly, but it'll be a double. Pretty good arm from Mr. Ankiel out there. Wow.
You will see one of the very, very good throwing arms in baseball now with Mr. Ankiel in right field. I mean, he is strong with his throws, and he has been accurate the times that we've seen him. Plays it extremely well off the wall, and look at this throw. Now, Ethier, there's two guys that have hurt the Cardinals in this series offensively. Maloney and Ethier. And Ethier, with a triple to drive home a run, and he scored, and he's doubled. He's had some extra base hits in this series also.
Ramon Martinez with a sacrifice fly got an RBI back in the second. Curveball is outside.
Do you see how important it was to turn that double play ball?
Mike, you've said it to me over the years. It's the little things.
Fundamentally, when you play as many games as you play in the big leagues, okay, and as many strikes, balls, ground balls, fly ball, the fundamentals have to be present, or you're not going to be successful.
A ball and one strike. The Rockies lead the Cubs 1-0, and they're still batting in the bottom of the second inning in the mile-high city of Denver. Cardinals lead 8-2 here. Have out-hit L.A. 11-5. Curveball just misses low.
That was a good pitch, but he wouldn't go for it. These guys have such good command of the strike zone nowadays, these hitters. I think that they're better now than I've ever seen them. We call them do-hitters. You very seldom see a guy like Yogi Berra anymore that's so aggressive and a bad ball hitter. You don't see very many of them. I think video has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, they all use this video to their.
Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero out in the American League in the West Coast. He is a throwback, and he might be the worst ever as far as I've seen him hit baseballs that have bounced.
Yep.
And
he's amazing.
All he wants to do is swing. And again, he's such a natural. I think he's a natural. Yogi Berra was a natural hitter. I love that one about Yogi. He brought his Louisville Slugger up to bat, and he had the trademark down rather than up. The catcher said, "Hey, Yogi, you got your bat wrong." He said, "I didn't bring it up here to read." Whack.
Full count to Ramon Martinez.
But boy, Guerrero, he might be the worst bad ball hitter in the history of the game. You got a chance anyway, and in an area where you don't see it.
Here's one into right. Ankiel ranging under, makes the play. We played 3.5. The Birds are up 8-2. The Birds lead at 8-2 as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Albert Pujols, Ryan Ludwick, and So Taguchi due up.
Yeah, talking to Bill Delury, who's been the traveling secretary for this Dodger club. I think
wonderful guy.
56 years.
He's one of the great people in baseball.
I asked him, I said, if you would have had frequent flyer miles for all those years, how many? Well, he said, oh, they said, if I turn them in, he said, they'll give me the airplane.
Yes, sir. Strike on the inside corner to Albert.
This is Sunday, correct?
It is Sunday.
Albert has 11 home runs on Sunday out of his 24 this year.
Well, he's been in a bit of a funk lately. I mentioned he's hurting a little bit and having a little trouble with an elbow with his legs, but he insists on playing every day.
And he's 2 for 2 today, a pair of singles and a run scored.
Yep. Here's a long one. Did you call it, Mike?
No, he's a little short.
A little short. It'll be caught at the warning track. Well, some special people are in the ballpark today watching a very important man. Let's go to Katie Phelps.
Jay, I'm standing in the crowd with Tim and Rick Reyes. They've come all the way from California to watch their son pitch. Not a bad outing so far from
Not a bad outing. It's been really great. And he's also hitting, so that's a good thing.
Now, do you guys drive all the way from California whenever you go to watch him play?
Probably half and half. You know, it just depends. You know, we don't know if he's up or down, so it's kind of tough that way.
Do you even know how many miles you've logged this season then?
Lots. Lots of miles.
Now, I understand that you were a pitcher growing up, so does that mean that Anthony got his arm from you?
Of course. I played softball for about 13 years, and I pitched and played shortstop, so some of the talent might be for me, but Rick's also an athlete, so.
Rick, you also played football, and we were talking earlier. Anthony was just an all-around great athlete, wasn't he?
Growing up, you played, soccer and baseball, but he's just a natural for everything. High school, played some football 2 years, baseball, but, baseball was his calling, so I just, he had to pick one or the other, he chose baseball.
Well, it's been a good outing so far. I hope it ends up as a happy day for you guys. It's got lots of run support. Jay, and you're welcome. Jay and Rick, we'll send it back up to you in the booth.
All right, and Rick will be returning. Right now, Mr. Mike Shannon is at my side, and here's Taguchi with 2 out. Ludwick popping out to second base. Taguchi has grounded out and reached on a fielder's choice and scored in that big 3rd inning when the Birds played at 5. High to Taguchi.
So is coming off a month of July where he batted .345. Chance to play today because Encarnacion has come up with a sore knee.
1 ball and 1 strike. Ooh, high and tight from Rudy Cianez. Hendrickson went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 8 runs, all earned, 11 hits, didn't strike out anybody, didn't walk anybody.
So Taguchi played in the Japanese league for a number of years over there, and an outstanding player. And he's been one of the guys that have been able to make the transition to the big leagues. But we went over there after the World Series in 1968, Jay.
I remember it.
We were going to play the Japanese teams, and, we had a meeting, and when the discussion came up, I said, well, they don't slide hard into the second baseman, and they don't knock people down over there. So the question came up, well, what should we do? I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm playing the same way.
You play the way you're taught to play, right?
That's right.
Here's a walk to So.
And, these Japanese players that have come over here, and I got to play against one of the left-handers pitched for the Giants, okay? They had first started back in the 60s coming over, to my knowledge anyway. And now we have a number of them that have come in from Japan, and now we have Korean. I mean, this is an international business now and an international game. But Ichiro, what he's done and what So Taguchi has done, and these guys are really having an impact on Major League Baseball internationally.
Bennett shot out to the second baseman, Kent. He throws on. That's going to do it. We're through 4. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
All right. Thank you very much.
8-2 Cardinals. 8-2 St. Louis. Looking for more news information on the Cardinals? Go to KSDK.com for fan photos, features, stories, video. KSDK.com, St. Louis's home page. This is Delwyn Young at the plate. And he swings and misses. He's batting for Cianez. Pitches the outside corner.
Jay had a nice long visit with Mike Shannon there. That was a nice long inning, huh?
A lot of fun. We really did have some fun. How was it over on radio?
It was a long inning over there, too. But it was a good inning. If you're going to have a long inning, you better have it on your side.
You're right. Delwyn Young fouls that one back. And Young pops this up. That's Eckstein, one away. Bank of America, the official sponsor of Major League Baseball and the St. Louis Cardinals. Visit Bank of America at bankofamerica.com. Delwyn Young was the minor league player of the month in June, just recently called up. He's done very well since coming up. And he has popped out to start this inning. Here's for call. First pitch in for a strike. Call has singled and lined out.
I like the way Reyes has pitched, Jay, after the 5-run Cardinal third inning. After they scored 3 runs in the first inning, he gave up two Dodger runs in the second, and I prefer what he's done after that big inning.
Mike echoed those same sentiments and said he's just got to come on and pitch, throw that ball, and get the job done. You know, when you got a lead like this, you're up 6. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good to see him help get that lead too, getting an RBI base hit. Something he hasn't done very well in the big league level, hitting.
His parents are here watching him. Katie Felch just talked to them a short time ago, and I'm sure it's going to be quite a thrill for them if he gets this victory. 2-2. Strikeout. That's the 3rd for Anthony Reyes.
A nice fastball from Anthony Reyes is today's hot pitch of the game, brought to you by Hardee's. It's a fastball moving away from Furcal, who's always hit the Cardinals well, but not this time. As Reyes sets him down. You mentioned just his 2nd strikeout, but he's been in command, I would say, of most of this ball game. Correction, his 3rd strikeout.
Pierre has flied to left, and he is singled. And he stole a base back in the 3rd inning, his 45th of the year. That's with nobody on here. Top of the 5th inning. Updating you on Milwaukee, they lead 2-0 at Houston. They're batting in the top of the 5th. And the Rockies are up 2-0 on the Cubs in the 3rd inning at Denver. Little shot out into right. Oh, the 2-out single for Juan Pierre, who just keeps poking that ball around, doesn't he? Man. He doesn't sting the ball, but he certainly does get his share of hits, and when he gets on, he makes things happen.
Well, every time he gets a base hit, it's a double. Already has his 45th stolen base, and I would guess he'd go here.
Why not?
Rarely gets thrown out, and with Gary Bennett behind the plate, even though it's 8-2, why not put yourself in scoring position? We'll see if he goes.
Well, Mike mentioned because of this leg kick that Reyes has, it gives the base stealers a little extra. Let's see here. Time is called.
Tony thinks he's going, so he gave him the hold the ball until people get bored sign. I'm not sure what he actually does, but that is a particular sign.
Loney has flied to left and struck out this afternoon, but he is batting .318. There's a throw over to first.
So the combination of Bennett behind the plate, Pierre at first, and Reyes with the slow kick on the mound Makes it about a 98% certainty he'd be safe.
Up the middle. So singles now by Pierre and Loney with 2 out. And here comes Jeff Kent.
Got a couple of balls hit very hard up the middle. Hendrickson almost got drilled a couple of times, and wow, now it's Mr. Reyes' turn. Whoa. You see the self-preservation. The glove goes right up in front of the face. I don't blame him.
The Dodgers will be heading home tonight. They have 4 against Houston and 3 with the Rockies, and then they go back east for 3 with the Phillies and 3 against the Mets. Day off tomorrow for the Redbirds into Milwaukee. 3 games there, and then the 4 in Chicago before coming home. Kent this afternoon has fouled out and flied to center. Has been held in check during this series. Coming on to make the play is Ludwick in left. Ball hit right on the nose, but right at Ludwick. They leave 2 after 4 1/2. It's 8-2 St. Louis. Of Cardinal baseball on KSDK TV is brought to you by Hardee's. Try our new made-from-scratch blueberry biscuits topped with blueberries and sweet creamy icing. Baked fresh every morning, only at Hardee's. By Saturn, like always, like never before. And by Bank of America, the official bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. Visit us at bankofamerica.com. Back here at the park. Like sisters to me. The new pitcher is Scott Proctor. Used to be in the Dodger organization and recently signed by them. Acquired from the Yankees on July 31st, the trade deadline, in exchange for Wilson Betemit, and played at Florida State, giving up just 1 earned run in 7 2/3 innings while wearing the Dodger uniform this season.
Delvin Young's going to stay in the game and play second base, so the pitcher Proctor will hit in Jeff Kent's slot, cleanup slot.
Here's Aaron Miles, and his 3rd hit of the afternoon.
Wow, have
How
a
about
day.
this?
Have a day, Aaron Miles. He gets his hits in bunches, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He singled in the 2nd, singled and scored, picked up an RBI in that 3rd inning, and the Cardinals played at 5, and now a single here in the bottom of the 5th.
He's such a streak hitter. When he's feeling it, he loves to swing at that first pitch too, because he just sees the ball well, wants to make contact early on in the count, not let the pitcher get ahead. Reyes will be bunting here.
He bunted successfully in the 2nd, then he singled in the 3rd, picked up an RBI and scored. And now Oquendo comes down to say something to him.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie.
The bunt is foul. The Astros get 1 in the bottom of the 5th, and they're still batting, and Milwaukee leads there 2-1. And updating you again on that game in Denver, the Rockies up 2-0 over the Cubs. Cubs batting in the 4th. We're in the 5th here, 8-2 St. Louis. Reyes again checking the signs out with third base coach Jose Oquendo. Low, 2 balls and a strike. Last year, the Cardinals played 7 games against these Dodgers and won them all. A Victory today would make it a 3-3 situation for the year. And another foul bunt. 2-2. Going to have him bunt again?
I would suspect he will bunt again. I think what you're trying to stay out of here is a double play, and even if the pitcher does bunt the ball foul for strike 3, at least it's just 1 out. And you know, it's one way of looking at it. It's Reyes' fault. He's got 2 strikes, not getting the bat out in front of him. See if he does it here, and he does.
Nice job. Sacrifice 1-4, his second sacrifice of the day. Join News Channel 5 every Sunday morning at 10 for Cardinal Nation. It's 30 minutes of in-depth stories, interviews, features about the world champions. Cardinal Nation on the home of the St. Louis Cardinals, News Channel 5. Here comes Brendan Ryan. Grounded out in the second, doubled, picked up an RBI in the third. Ryan is now batting .344 on the season.
If you would have told me, Jay, 2 weeks ago that this Cardinal club would struggle in Pittsburgh, get swept in Washington, then play really well against the Padres and the Dodgers, I would have said that does not make any sense.
It's a funny game, isn't it?
And that's exactly how it's turned out. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's not as if this Cardinal club has been extraordinary at home. Record's about the same, more or less, at home and on the road. So it's not like they've had a great home field advantage to explain that fact.
2 games over 500 right now at home. Two balls and no strikes to Ryan. Today's the Build-A-Bear day here at the park, isn't it? The Build-A. They may be just getting to their seats after standing in line for the Bears, huh? Scott Proctor, the third pitcher of the afternoon. High and tight. 3-0. Proctor's a Floridian, born in Stewart, still lives there. Caught the inside corner with that one.
Amazing the way the Cardinal offense has exploded today, and we've seen them other days where they were just flat as could be. No pop, no energy on the base pass.
Here's one into left, going back. Gonzalez, back, gone! Oh, these kids have put some life into this club, haven't they?
Hey, not bad power out of the 9th spot in your lineup. Brendan Ryan with his 3rd homer as a Cardinal. All smiles in the Cardinals dugout as he makes good contact. Fastball up in the zone. Tailing in on him, but he got the bat head on it, and it just carried to left field. He now has 3 RBIs today. All smiles, Brendan Ryan. How about that?
10-2 St. Louis. Here's Eckstein. David takes outside for a ball. David has singled and scored in the first, grounded out in the second, singled, picked up an RBI in the third. And this out deep behind shortstop. The play made out there by Furcal. Got a little shot here of Ryan. The home run. Look at this now.
Happy, running around the bases as fast as he could be, and he just kind of can't wait to get in and high-five everybody.
Got a nice short haircut there, doesn't he? Little outside to Rick Ankiel. And Rick today, of course, has popped out. He doubled and scored in the third, struck out in the third inning when he was able to bat twice because of that big inning. 10 went to the plate. Ryan's home run, traveling an estimated 380 feet. 2 balls and no strikes to Ankiel.
Still amazing. You think about if you could have looked ahead from spring training and said the Cardinals would have a great offensive output against the Dodgers in mid-August. 3 players would have 4 extra base hits between them. All the RBIs, most of the RBIs, most of the runs scored. Who would those 3 guys be? And if your answer was Ankiel, Ludwick, and Brendan Ryan, I think you could have bet the farm on that one, man. You could have won a lot of money on that one with the odds you could have gotten.
The 3-1 delivery is low and a walk. Having fun at the old ballpark today. Getting some sun as the Cardinals get some runs. They lead 10-2.
I think those were his sisters. Does that guy probably bring 2 dates to the ballpark?
Here's Albert.
I want to know, is this, I mean, what's the deal here? Is that guy going that good?
Rick Honeycutt returning to the mound. The pitching coach. Pujols has singled and scored in the first, singled in the third, fly deep out to left in the 4th inning.
Rick Honeycutt spent a lot of time on the mound here this afternoon, and he hasn't had any answers for these Dodger pitchers. I've been told that they are sisters, and I believe he's dating this one over here, so we got it straight.
Our people get this information. I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. Ball 1 to Albert. Ball 2. Cubs have taken the lead in Denver 3-2, top of the 4th inning. Astros got a run in the 6th. Milwaukee leads 2-1 in Houston. There's a strike on the corner. Albert puts this high into the air, foul into the seats and right. There's Albert at the plate and an Albert fan in the stands wearing his number 5 jersey.
A lot of those here at the ballpark.
You betcha.
Think back in Musial's days, if they'd have worn those instead of suits to the ballpark, they might have had a lot of Musial jerseys.
They ask for an opinion, and the opinion is it's a strike. And Albert slowly looks down at the first base umpire, Mike Everett. And I'm just wondering if he's been thrown out of this game. Maybe not. And I saw Everett make a move. Let's see. Cardinals lead 10-2. Cardinals trivia is brought to you by Schnucks. When was the last time the Cardinals had 2 outfielders selected to play in the All-Star game? You got an idea about that one?
I'm going to guess Pujols and Edmonds.
Vince Coleman and Willie McGee.
Or I'm going to say Coleman and McGee.
1988. That was a dynamic duo, wasn't it? Gonzalez will lead it off here in the 6th inning. He's walked and scored and singled this afternoon.
Coleman and McGee at the top of the lineup was better than for Colin Pierre in terms of speed.
Gonzalez, a 5-time All-Star. His 18th season in the big leagues, batting over .320 lifetime against the Cardinals. A long one foul. The Tigers are leading Oakland at Detroit 10-5 in the 7th inning. Seattle shutting out the White Sox 6-0 in Chicago. Florida and the Mets tied 4-4 in the 6th inning. Did he go around? Yes, he did. That's a strikeout. And the 4th of the afternoon for Reyes. San Diego leading Cincinnati 6-4 in the 8th inning at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh 1-0 at San Francisco there in the 2nd inning.
You talked earlier, Jay, about how good the starting pitching's been over the last 10 games. Nice view of the arch here in downtown St. Louis. Beautiful downtown St. Louis. And the job that the Cardinals starting rotation has done lately has been beautiful. Their last 6 starts have been outstanding. They've been 4-2 in those starts. Cardinals have won 4 of the 6 games, I should say. But 6 quality, I mean, really good starts from the rotation. And this could be 7 straight here with Anthony Reyes, who's given up just 2 runs in 5 innings. I wouldn't say spectacular, but very, very workmanlike.
Absolutely.
He's just getting the job done is what he's doing. I don't know. You mentioned that earlier also. We don't know how he pitches with a lead because we've never seen him get one.
He hasn't had much help. Mike Lieberthal has struck out and grounded into a double play. It's outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Three and 1. Eighteenth season of pro baseball for this fella. 2-time All-Star. Is 14th in the majors. Pops it up. Albert ranging back. He's got to play in foul territory.
See, that should be a P or just a 5. Let's see if he writes just a 5. Oh, a 3. I'm sorry. Instead of a P3, he just writes a 3.
There you go. Tomorrow morning before work or before school or before anything just about, join News Channel 5's Art Holiday and Jennifer Blome. St. Louis's favorite morning show, Today in St. Louis. The latest news, traffic, and weather. Today in St. Louis, it all begins at 5 a.m. early tomorrow morning right here on News Channel 5. Ethier has tripled and scored and picked up an RBI in the 2nd. He doubled in the 4th.
Some people, when they score, they'll put L3 or P3 or F to be pop, line out, or fly out, so you remember that at bat. Fans all have all kinds of ways to keep scoring. Make little notes yourself of what you think about that one at bat, so you'll remember it later on.
Whatever works for you, right?
You got to remember to find that guy, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Cold beer.
Plenty of cold beer on hand today for the folks.
And a toasty day at the ballpark. That man is very popular today.
Hey, Bud Light. Bud Select, cold beer.
You really have to enunciate if you have that job, don't you?
Absolutely. Strikeout number 5. Down they go. 5.5 innings are by the boards here at Busch. Birds lead 10-2. Well, you know, we had Mark Hendrickson starting today, and there's the list.
How about that? Dick Ricketts on that list. Dave Ricketts' brother.
Gene Connolly.
Dick Grote, former Cardinal. How about that? I tell you what, we spared no expense doing research, Jay.
Absolutely. Ludwick with a major league pop-up in foul ground, handled by Loney. One away. Taguchi is grounded out, reached on a fielder's choice, stolen a base and scored in the third, and walked in the fourth inning. Scott Proctor, the third pitcher of the afternoon, throwing for the Dodgers. Following Hendrickson and Cianez. Caught the corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. And now Houston has tied up Milwaukee 2-2. Milwaukee batting in the top of the 7th.
Atta baby.
Down in Houston. Yankees leading the Indians. In fact, that game is just over. New York beats Cleveland 5-3 in Cleveland. The Yankees playing very good baseball these days. Here's a shot into right, handled out there by Ethier. This year, when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals on KSDK, check out MLB.tv. You can log on to the internet to watch every out-of-market Cards game live or listen to every radio broadcast live. For more details on MLB.tv, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Here's Gary Bennett batting with nobody on and 2 out. Bennett has flied out, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the third, grounded out in the fourth. And ripped into left. 2 out single by Bennett.
Gary gets into the action offensively. He's done a nice job of handling Anthony Reyes here this afternoon. Those two have been in sync.
Every player on the club except Taguchi has a hit. That was number 14 for the Redbirds.
Taguchi does have a walk and a stolen base and a run scored, so at least he's gotten to get involved in the action a little bit. This guy's been a big part of the action, 3 for 3.
Miles average up to 294. Out into short left. Gonzalez comes on, makes the play. 6 innings. Cardinals 10, LA 2. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Always worth it. And on Tuesday, coverage at 6 p.m. Our friends over at Fox Sports Net Midwest, Cardinals and the Brewers, the first of 3 up in Milwaukee.
How important is that road trip going to be as the Cardinals have a couple of changes? Chris Duncan is on to play first base. And the new Cardinal pitcher is Randy Flores, the left-hander. Flores will bat in the 4th slot, I would presume. Waiting to hear that announcement. And Duncan in the 9th slot. Randy in 51 games has been very good out of the bullpen. The ERA starting to go back down again of late. The bullpen can be a lot more effective when all they've got to do is go out and get 9 outs instead of having to get 15 outs. And nice start for Anthony Reyes. 6 innings, just 2 runs, 7 hits. Very good outing for the right-hander.
Ramon Martinez will lead it off. He had an RBI on a sac fly in the 2nd and flied out in the 4th. Flores snapped an 8-game scoreless streak of 6 1/3 innings on Monday, allowing a run on 3 hits in the 9th against San Diego. Well, Duncan's going to bat in the 8th spot as Eckstein throws out Martinez.
That's right. I said the 9th spot thinking that was the pitcher's spot. How silly of me.
How silly.
I forgot we don't do that here.
Nope.
Our pitcher bats 8th here.
6 innings pitched for Reyes, 2 runs, 7 hits, 5 strikeouts, and a walk. Nice performance by Anthony, who figures to pick up his 2nd victory of the season this afternoon. He threw 94 pitches, and as Rick indicated, a very workmanlike effort. 1 ball and no strikes to Delwyn Young.
Watch out.
That is going to be back in the seats. Ooh. Young came into the game in the 5th when he popped out.
Lady was walking to her seat and almost got that bat.
Whew. That was a major leg toss.
Yeah. I happened to see right where the lady was walking towards her seat. The bat came flying right at her. You got to watch out in those seats around the dugout. You have to pay attention there.
Whew. One ball and 1 strike. Young breaks his bat and gets a single into left.
He just lost another bat.
If you're tired of waiting for your 5-day forecast, News Channel 5 brings you forecast first. Every weathercast you know begins and ends with your 5-day forecast. It's the most important part of weather coverage. Forecast first, only from News Channel 5. Rafael Furcal, single in the 1st, lined out in the 3rd, and struck out in the 5th. 1 on and 1 out. Top of the 7th inning. Out into center field on the run. Taguchi, he gets there. So got a good jump on that pitch. Coming off the bat of Furcal. 2 away.
Forrest throwing the ball very well here this afternoon. Looks like he's got his velocity back. First pitch to Furcal had a lot on it. He's also jammed the last 2 hitters. It tells me that they're not quite catching up to the fastball, that he's got a little bit more than they expect out of him.
Pierre is 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Curveball in for a strike. Cardinals got 3 in the 1st on the home run by Ludwick with 2 on. Put 5 on the board in the 3rd and 2 more in the 5th. LA scored only in the 2nd inning. 2 runs on a hit. The big blast being Ethier's triple. And for a strike. 1 and 2.
This is the way you design a bullpen. Pitch the last few innings with a lead and have specialists come in at the right time. You got the lefty on lefty when you want it.
That's out of play.
Everybody's pitching in their roles. The Cardinal bullpen has done such a great job this year, considering, Jay, they haven't really pitched in their role. They've pitched when they have been able to pitch because there's so many innings that have come out of the bullpen. You find yourself, Ryan Franklin, for example, pitching against left-handers because, well, you know, we've already used our left-handers, or we pitched them the 3 days in a row before that. And so to me, they've done an outstanding job.
Yeah, these last 10 games have been very helpful as Pierre slaps this one out, and it'll be handled by Ludwick. The Redbirds leading 10-2 after 6 1/2.
At 6.
Roberto Hernandez is the new hurler. Hernandez appeared in 28 games with the Indians this season, going 3-1. Made his Dodger debut on July the 19th, tossing a perfect inning on that occasion. This is his 998th career game, which is 12th on the all-time games pitch list. He is 6 behind Goose Gossage.
There was a time when this guy was one of the nastiest relievers in all of baseball. He had such a hard fastball and good breaking ball. Always was a great closer.
Looking for something to do, someplace to go, need local information? Don't rely on a national website. Ask Archie. Ask Archie is St. Louis's search engine. Go to AskArchie.com for all things St. Louis today. Andre Ethier now in left field, and we've got a new right fielder, and we've got Duncan at the plate. Ball on the inside is called a ball. And a shot out into right center. Coming on to make that play was Matt Kemp, who was taken over out there. This copyright telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals, and it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. We've got a new outfield of Ethier, Pierre, and Kemp. And I believe we've got to check out who's playing down there at third. Is that still Martinez?
Looks like Almeida signs.
Yes, it is.
Third. Martinez has moved to shortstop. And it's like a spring training game, Jay.
It is a little bit. Go. So it is Signs, Martinez, Young, and Loney on the infield. Ethier, Pierre, and Kemp in the outfield. Lieberthal doing the catching, and the fourth pitcher of the afternoon, Roberto Hernandez, in for the Dodgers.
Now we got it.
Yep. And here is Brendan Ryan, who's had himself a nice return to the big leagues, his 4th time up this season. Is 2 for 3. Ludwick 2 for 4. Ankiel 1 for 3. Nice afternoon.
Isn't just the 5 hits in there, Jay. They were all big hits.
Little liner looped out there to Young, 2 away. Eckstein. Heel bat with nobody on. He singled in the first and scored, grounded out in the second, singled, picked up an RBI in the third, and popped out in the 5th. Yeah, I want to remind everybody about tomorrow, of course. Cardinals scoring 6. Tomorrow you score big at On the Run at Mobile. The 20-ounce Bengal Traders coffee, refreshing fountain drink, or the heat-busting frozen drink, which sounds pretty good these days with this weather. Just a quarter tomorrow on the Run at Mobile. Turning a triple play with the Card Score 6 take your pick deal.
Trying to figure out if you get a refill if they score 12.
Double or nothing, right? 1 ball and 1 strike. David slaps it to the left side, and it gets through. 2-out single for Eckstein, his 3rd hit of the afternoon. And that's 15 for the Cardinals. On Thursday, September 20th, when the Cardinals face the Astros, it's Northwest County Community Night. The Northwest County Chamber of Commerce hosts a pregame business expo for its chamber members. Northwest County area residents or businesses interested in purchasing tickets, call 291-2131. Here's Ankiel. He's popped out, he's doubled and scored, struck out and walked.
He wouldn't have some more fireworks, would he?
That's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. At Houston, they're tied up 2-2. Milwaukee and the Astros. At Denver, they're tied up 3-3. The Cubs and the Rockies. Here, 10-2 Cardinals. That just missed inside. Roberto Hernandez fires and gets it on the outside corner. 2-2. It's a good tailing fastball.
He still has pretty good stuff.
Strikeout. 7 innings have been played. Birds lead by 8. This portion of Cardinal baseball on KSDK TV is brought to you by the Carpenters Union. The Carpenters Union builds St. Louis. By McDonald's. Got a Hugo-sized thirst? Get a Hugo-sized drink for just 89 cents. Only at McDonald's. And by Commerce Bank. Come to Commerce Bank today and get more than free checking. Member FDIC. Our next televised game will be Sunday afternoon, the 26th of August. Atlanta invades Busch Stadium. Cards and the Braves in high definition for you. Our coverage beginning at 12:30 right here on your home of the Cardinals, News Channel 5. And the new pitcher is Brad Thompson. His last outing just yesterday, went an inning. Flores pitching an inning, giving up just a hit, no runs, no strikeouts, no walks. And a reminder that the Cardinal announcers apparel is provided courtesy of our good friends at Johnny Mac's, your home sporting goods store. And we're wearing our Carolina blue today, and nice and cool. Loney will stand in. He'll be followed by Kemp and Gonzalez. Loney today is 1 for 3. Been an interesting season for Brad Thompson, who's been asked to start. Back now in the bullpen. Here's a fly ball that is going to go foul into the seats.
There's Tony Angelos, center field camera guy, done a great job. It's a warm, toasty day here at Busch Stadium. All these folks have done a great job of getting us some good shots of the folks in the stands today. A lot of smiling faces, young kids that are.
Great job by our crew today, and it's very, very warm out there. The 1-1 pitch. Deep to right and off the wall. Mishandled for a moment out there. It was a double anyway. Ankiel is, you know, as I mentioned, going to learn a lot about playing at corner out there as time goes on.
Well, it's been mostly Cardinals today, although our defensive play of the game, brought to you by Steak and Shake, was made by a Dodger. For a call coming up the middle, he's going to rob Brendan Ryan of a base hit. Incredible play, close play at first base, but tremendous defense from Furcal. That's the second time he's done that in this series. Not a lot of bright spots for the Dodgers yet this afternoon. Cardinals have really handed it to them. 10-2, 15-9 in the hit department.
It's going to be Signs who is batting in this spot. And he comes in with an average of 182, 3 home runs and 15 RBIs on the season.
You think Signs and Cianez ever get their clothes confused by the clubhouse guys?
You could. I mean,
I guess that's why they put numbers on there.
I think so. Curveball hit him on the elbow.
You can actually tell the players who bounced around a little bit, because a lot of times you have numbers and then it's crossed out and you got another number crossed out and another number on it.
The crowd today, 45,379. Another sellout. You know, their most experienced team in town, Sidney Pressler and John Fuller and Scott Connell and Mike Roberts, 4 full-time meteorologists. The most accurate forecasts in St. Louis, the Weather Plus Weather Team, only on News Channel 5. Now here is Kemp. Batting for the first time. He's hitting .315. And a fly ball deep to center. Taguchi. And he finds it. Good play by So out there battling the sun. Again, not a cloud in the sky here today. A very high sky.
So ends up making a nice play on this, but he almost misjudges where the ball is. He looks up, puts his glove in front of the sun, does have his sunglasses on, but the ball trails off a little bit at the end. You can never fault that man for lack of effort. Sometimes he's moving fast in the wrong direction out in the outfield, but I tell you, I just love the heart that he brings to the ballpark. He does not play on low throttle.
Lieberthal is 0 for 3. 2 on and 1 out. We're in the 8th. Cardinals lead 10-2. Foul back.
You know, So's probably lost a step in terms of speed. Bat may be a little slower. His arm certainly has gone downhill in the last few years, but wow, that heart is still there.
The Astros have taken the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning at Houston 3-2, and they're still batting. Playing the Brewers. It's 3-3 in Denver. Cubs batting in the top of the 6th. Fly ball out into right, and Keel on the run, and he's there. It'll be Ethier, who's had a nice day with the triple and an RBI and scored in the 2nd, doubled in the 4th, struck out in the 6th. Here's the thermometer.
That's cooling off. 120 earlier.
Well, it was right in the sun at that time, of course, too. That
100's enough.
Yeah. The official temperature here at the park was 99 degrees when we started play. Here's the toss coming from Duncan. Over to Thompson. That'll do it. 10-2 St. Louis.
Well, it's not just a great day for the Cardinals, it's also a great day for veterans out here at the ballpark. There are more than 700 veterans of war. And the American Legion Department of Missouri sells tickets, and they raise money to use it to help veterans when they come home after serving. And on a side note, Russ Springer and his 11 of his teammates raised more than $23,000 for Strikeout for Troops, which also helped veterans. So not only a great day for the Cardinals, but a great day for those who serve our nation. We'll send it back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Katie. Great job today hustling around this ballpark for us. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Thompson is going to bat. Joe Beimel is the new pitcher. The 5th of the afternoon for the Dodgers. We saw Beimel here on Friday evening. The left-hander logged his first save of the season back in June at Pittsburgh. That is fouled away.
You mentioned the job Katie's done here tonight. How about being able to interview Chris Carpenter here tonight? Always good to hear from him. That the size of that cast that he has on his, not a cast, but it's a brace.
Neat to have Anthony Reyes' parents on, too.
Oh,
I
boy.
thought that was nice. Thompson's batting 158. He'll stay in the game.
Always a lot of stories going on at the ballpark other than just what's happening on the field. You got a rehabbing player that wishes he was out on that field. You've got parents that made a great sacrifice so the guy could be on the field in the Reyes family. And there's always a story to be told here at the ballpark. That's usually what happens, Jay. You've got fathers bringing kids and grandparents bringing grandchildren here, telling them, I remember when I was at a game and, you know, fill in the blank. There's always a story of remembering their first time at the park and how their parents may have taken them there. I think that's what makes baseball unique.
Fouled off the end of the bat. Joe Beimel wearing number 97. That's the highest number in the history of the Dodgers, dating all the way back to 1932 when they started putting numbers on the uniforms, I guess.
We're not going to go to like hundreds sometime, are we?
I don't think so.
I hope
No,
not.
I hope not.
I don't feel that big on the high numbers. Look like football players.
Strike out. Beimel gets Thompson, and we'll get a chance to see one of our heroes today who started things off nicely in the first inning with a 3-run homer, as Eckstein and Pujols scored in front of him, and Ludwick came back with a single and an RBI in the third. Since then, he popped out in the fourth and fouled out in the sixth. Ball one to Ludwick. His batting average at .254. He has 10 home runs now and 33 RBIs. This guy Beimel can throw some heat at you. Big, tall drink of water. We've seen two very tall left-handers perform here in the park this afternoon. Again, Mark Hendrickson and Joe Beimel. Down the line in left, foul.
Another good swing for Ludwick. Ball down and in.
The Mets have defeated Florida 10-4 at New York. San Diego 10-4 over Cincinnati in Cincinnati. And Detroit got by Oakland in Detroit 11-6, and Seattle shut out the White Sox in Chicago 6-0. Those are all the finals. That's low. Full count. Another final I gave you earlier as the Yankees won at Cleveland 5-3. Yankees getting the job done these days for Joe Torre. Fouled away.
We have races in every division in Major League Baseball. As you look at the standings and give those scores, you think about how exciting it's going to be over the next 6 weeks, Jay. And Yankees, Red Sox going down to the wire. You got Detroit and Cleveland neck and neck. Seattle still in it as they trail the Angels.
There's a walk.
And the National League East, I think, is going to be a great battle.
Yeah, I do too. Later tonight, it's NFL action on News Channel 5. The Seattle Seahawks taking on the San Diego Chargers. Preseason Sunday night football tonight that kicks off at 7 right here on News Channel 5. Al Michaels and John Madden will have the call. Here's a shot into center field. Taguchi, and Ludwick goes on to third, and now I believe Everybody who is batted except Thompson, who just hit here at the top of this inning, has a hit. That is 16 hits for the Redbirds. And a shot into left off the bat of Gary Bennett, his second hit in a row, and it is 11-2.
That away, Gary. Nice afternoon for him. Cardinals now have pounded out 17 hits, and
that ties their top performance of the year. They had 17 against Kansas City back on the 20th of June.
A lot of changes in this game, and camera guys have a little cheat sheet with the roster on the left of the camera, so they can kind of check out players and keep score themselves, know who they've got on the bench and in the bullpen. And those guys do a little homework too, Jay.
You bet they have to. It's nice in a game like this that we can show the folks at home some of the nuances and some of the inside stuff that goes on. And another hit. Number 18. Here comes Taguchi. That's an even dozen, cousin.
And I guess four is an even number too, and that's how many hits Aaron Miles has now. He can put together some games. Wow. His average climbs again up over 290 again, and Aaron Miles, I don't know how they got him out the one time when he flew out to left. Goes down and gets it. First ball hitting again. Miles now with 2 RBIs. He scored 2 runs.
Guessing there's not a lot of movement on that fastball from Beimel today, but he looked impressive when he came in and fired that ball up there a couple of times. Here's Duncan, who flied to right.
Tell you, there are times where a team's hitting well. It doesn't matter how hard you're throwing or how much the ball's moving. I mean, it just seemed to hit everything. Dodgers have run into a buzzsaw today with this Cardinal offense.
A season high 18 hits. Fouled out of play.
Chris Duncan doesn't have one yet.
Cardinals scored 15 runs at Oakland on June the 16th. But the 18 hits are a new season high. 0-2 the count to Duncan. One ball and 2 strikes. And the Rockies lead the Cubs 6-3, bottom of the 6th inning in Denver. And the Astros lead 4-2 now, bottom of the 8th inning in Houston.
Very nice. The news gets better and the plot thickens. You realize, Jay, we have nearly, now not exactly, but we have nearly a third of the season left. That's a lot of games, a ton of games left, almost 50 games and 48 games going into today.
Well, I'm trying not to get too excited, but I am getting excited.
Well, you get hopeful. Maybe that's a better way of saying it.
Foul back. You know, some people are saying, and I don't guess it's too far-fetched, that you might have a losing record and win the Central.
It's possible. Well, you know, I mean, I think that's what's hard when you look at the Cardinals. You say, well, I don't get too excited about this team because they have holes. Well, so does Milwaukee. So does Chicago. So does Houston. So you just have to be better than them.
Fouled again.
Milwaukee's pitching staff has been very inconsistent. You have
they miss Sheets, of course.
Yeah, they miss Sheets, but
terribly.
Capuano hasn't won in 2 months.
No. The Cubs are without Soriano. Big void there in the top of their lineup. 2-2 the count. 2 on. Strike. Duncan thought that pitch was low. Second strikeout for Beimel.
Milwaukee's bullpen has shown some vulnerabilities. And I think Chicago's bullpen's not great either. I mean, they're good, but I don't think they're great. So I think this division is up for grabs, but for somebody to grab it, they're going to just have to have a good 6 weeks here.
Bennett having a discussion with the second base umpire, the crew chief Jerry Davis, about that last call, I think. Here is Brendan Ryan. And down it goes to third. Signs throws over, and that's going to do it. Redbirds get 2 more. They lead 12-2 as we'll be back with the top of the ninth. Cardinals baseball on KSDK TV is brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. By your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. By U.S. Cellular, the official wireless sponsor of the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new sirloin burger. 100% sirloin. Your choice of cheese and onions. Only at Jack in the Box. Boy Percival is in to pitch this 9th inning, his 16th appearance. You see those 19 strikeouts. He's fanned at least one batter in each of his last 10 outings. Let's revisit the keys that you talked about early in this game, Rick.
Well, the Dodgers' speed, top of the lineup, they did have three hits, so we're going to go even on that one. The Cardinals bench, outstanding. Hitting with runners in scoring position, outstanding. 2 for 3 in terms of those keys today, but particularly the bench play, as they have not only gotten hits off the bench, Jay, but they have gotten big hits. Ludwick, the home run. Brendan Ryan, a home run. These are guys that are typically bench players, but they have been outstanding here this afternoon.
Ramon Martinez, who's now at shortstop, opened the game at third base. He had a sacrifice fly and an RBI in the second, fly to right in the fourth, and grounded out in the seventh. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Fly ball into right center. Ankiel makes the play. Updating you again on those 2 games of interest. Milwaukee is down 6-2, batting in the 9th inning at Houston. And the Rockies are up 6-3, Cubs batting in the 7th in Denver. Delwyn Young has popped out and singled. He came into the game in the 5th inning. Foul back.
Well, this road trip's going to be something else, isn't it? 3 in Milwaukee.
Unusual 4-game set in Chicago that goes into a Monday,
which is very odd. You don't see that very often, but 7 games. Great opportunity to pick up some ground.
And a day off tomorrow. Popped up. And let's see. Oh, boy, what a play by Bennett.
Unbelievable. He actually backhands that ball up against the fence. Wow.
Nice job.
But Gary Bennett's had a great day. Got a couple of hits, trying to shield the sun, and ends up catching that ball right up against the screen. Brendan Ryan can't get there. I mean, that's a catcher running with a lot of paraphernalia on, too. I mean, you're wearing the catcher's gear, and you're on a dead run going up against the fence. That's some play.
Mark Sweeney, who recently joined the Dodgers, originally selected by them back in the 39th round of the 91st year player draft, stands in. So he is the last hope to keep it going, and he fouls it back. This guy's been a terrific pinch hitter over the years. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You can add Troy Percival to the list of Cardinal players that have done a lot more than you thought they would. When they signed Percival, I thought, well, you know, maybe he can get to the big leagues, maybe. But you throw Ricky Ankiel in that bag, and Brendan Ryan, as players that have overachieved this year. And I think that balances some of the players that haven't. Doesn't quite balance it, but it certainly helps when you've had less than productive years out of Jim Edmonds and Scott Rowland of what you expect them to normally do. You need to have bit players come in and make contributions, and Troy Percival certainly has done that.
Fouled away. Sweeney in his career as a pinch hitter bats .269 with 15 home runs and 96 RBIs. 577th time that he has pinch hit in a game.
Think he's got the routine down?
I believe so. Stays alive. Popped up. Eckstein will take it. And the Cardinals win it 12-2. 12-18-0 for St. Louis. 2-9-0 for Los Angeles. Reyes gets the win. Hendrickson the loss. Back with more in a moment.